This is the effect we're going to create in this tutorial. In the first part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to prepare the asset, the 3D asset, to use as the body avatar drive here on Effect House. And the second part, I'm going to show you how you can create the body avatar drive here on Effect House, okay? So let's get started. Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, I'm going to make my first Effect House tutorial for you, okay? I usually make only for Spark AR, but now I think I'm ready to start teaching Effect House as well. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build one body avatar drive filter using the Effect House, okay? And first, I'm going to show you how to prepare your 3D asset and how to export it to Effect House. So as you can see here, I have this 3D body here, 3D character. I've downloaded this model from Mixamo, okay? So I downloaded from this website here, this one, mixamo. But for example, you could also download one character from TurboSquid. You can come here to turbosquid.com and search for characters, okay? And here we're gonna have some free assets, okay? Some of them are paid, some are free. So you have to search for free characters, okay? But in my case, I downloaded from Mixamo. If you don't know this website, it's very good to create animations, okay? And it's mixamo.com. You can click here in characters, and there are many options, many different models here for free, okay? You can use it in case you haven't modeled your own asset, okay? So where's the one I picked? I picked some, I think it was this one. I picked this one and I press download. But in order to download, you're gonna have to sign in, okay? You have to create an account here. If you have an account on Adobe, you can use the same account. So I'm gonna log in and download it. So now I can download. Here you're gonna choose the T-pose. It's already come by default here. And the format FBX, okay. So you don't need to touch anything here. Download. And after downloaded, you come to Blender. Okay, let me hide this model here. I'm just showing how you can download and import it to Blender, okay? Just in case you are a beginner and don't know how to import one 3D asset to Blender. You come here, File, Import, and you choose the format of our file. In this case, it's an FBX. Then you're gonna search for the model you downloaded and press Import FBX. When we download one model from Mixamo, it already comes with one armature, okay? This is the armature here. These little things here are the bones. When we are working with bones, it's good to select the bone, come here to this tab, and search for viewport display here, and select in front. So you can see through our mesh all the bones. Even though they're inside our mesh, you can still see it. But this armature that comes by default from Mixamo, we can't use it on Effect House, okay? Because I think the limit of bones you can use in a model in Effect House is 50. And because this armature that comes by default from Mixamo have more than 50 bones, it exceeds the limit of bones we can use in Effect House. So you have to delete this skeleton here, okay? So select your armature and press delete. And when you delete, your mesh gonna go crazy like this. It gets giant and also it's laid down. So let's fix this. Select your mesh and press R to rotate. Let me activate here my screencast keys so you can see what I'm typing. So press R to rotate and press X because we're gonna rotate around the X axis, this red axis here, and then press 90. Okay, so it's standing again. And now press S to scale it down. Okay. Come here to this item tab, and here you can see the dimensions. So let me decrease more. This way, when we export it to Effect House, it doesn't get like giant there. So it's easier to control and to change the size. Okay. I'm gonna scale it down a little more. And now you can press Ctrl A, or you can come here to Object and come here to Apply and apply all transforms. So now this is the original size of the mesh. Okay. And now we can create our own armature. Okay. We can create this armature in many ways. Okay. I'm going to show you how to manually create it, because sometimes when you use mixamo to create the armature, because it's possible to do that. For example, you can upload here your character, and you can drag your 3D mesh here, and it will automatically create bones for you. But sometimes, depending on the shape of your asset, the result isn't very good. Like this one here, I'm gonna show you now. I did that using mixamo, and it got all weird, so that's why in some cases I prefer to manually create the armature. Because you know, your mesh needs to have this humanoid shape. Okay, it needs to have legs, arms, head, you know, a human shape. But sometimes if your mesh is like a cartoon that has different proportions, so it's better to create your armature manually here in Blender. Okay, so let's get started. The first step is gonna be come here to add and select armature and select single bone. Okay, then your bone is gonna be here, okay, with the name armature. And with your bone selected, you're gonna come here to edit mode. Okay, edit mode, and now we can control only the bone. You can't control your mesh anymore, only the bone. And in order to make Effect House understand your armature, you need to follow some rules. Okay, so let's begin dragging this bone in the Z direction. So press G and Z so you can lock in the Z direction. Okay, and I forgot here to come to this menu and select in front so you can see through our mesh. So let's drag this bone around here because it's gonna be its hips. Okay, and now we're gonna have to create the spine. I'm gonna leave in the description of this video this link to the Effect House page where it shows how you should rename it and how your bones should be positioned in your mesh. Okay, so if you don't name your bones the same way as they recommended here, Effect House won't recognize your armature. Okay, so as you can see here, we're gonna start with the hips, and then we're gonna create the spine 1, spine 2, the neck, and the head. And after the spine 2, we're gonna also create the shoulder, both left and the right, the arm, forearm, and hand. Same thing with the legs. Okay, so let's keep going. So to create the spine, select here this little ball, press E to extrude, okay, and press Z so you can lock it in the Z direction, okay, so it gets straight. So it's gonna be the spine. Do the same thing, press E and Z to extrude it again. This is gonna be the spine 1. And let's rename it so we don't forget. So to rename it, you select your bone, come here to the bone properties tab, and here you can rename it. The first one is going to be the hips. I'm not sure if it's case sensitive, but because in the example here, the first letter is always capitalized, so I'm following exactly like the example. Okay, so now let's go to spine and spine 1. Now let's extrude the spine 2. Let's name it spine 2. Now let's go to side view. Press 3 in the numpad. Oh, I forgot to mention how you can position your view to this front view here. You can press 1 in the numpad, or you can use here the gizmo, okay, and press here in the Y, and the side view, you press here in the X. So you can see both sides. I'm gonna try to adjust it here in the side. Try to make it like the shape of our spine. It has a little curve here. Little curve here like this. I can even select everything and drag it a little back. G, Y, like this. Okay. So now let's create the arm. First, let's create the left arm. So come here to add. It's still in the edit mode, okay? Press single bone. And let's drag it, pressing G. Around here, because it's going to be the left shoulder. Okay. I'm going to rotate. To rotate the bone, you press R. Okay. Press S to scale. Let me see the example here. How the shoulder is positioned. Okay. I'm gonna leave it here. And now let's extrude the arm. So press E until the elbow here. Let's extrude the forearm. Press E again until the wrist. And press E again. Oops. Press E again to make the hands. Okay, now let's go to the top view. Top view, you can select here Z. Okay, or press 7 in the numpad. Okay. And as you can see, your bones are not aligned with the arm. So select your bones. If your box selection is not working, make sure this option is selected here, okay? This mode, in the select box option, select this mode here. So now drag it to around here. It's important that your bones are positioned inside your mesh for a better result. And now let's rename it. Okay, the first one is gonna be the left shoulder. Let's check if the S is capitalized. Yeah. The arm. Left arm. Left forearm. And left hand. And now to create the right arm, we can just select all these bones here from the left side, right click, and choose the option symmetrize. And automatically it's gonna create the right arm. Even the name, it recognizes that it's in the right position. Okay, and change where it was left, it's gonna change to right. And then let's do the same for the legs. So let's create a new bone, new single bone. Let's position it here. Rotate. Press S to scale. Around here. Now let's extrude. And extrude one more time to create the foot. I'm gonna move this portion here of the bone inside our mesh. Okay. Try to imagine that they are like our bones. Okay, here it would be like the femur. Okay, let's rename it. So it's gonna be the left up leg. Left leg. And left foot. And select everything, all these bones here in the leg. Right click and symmetrize. Okay. So now we're missing only the neck and the head. Okay. So let's do the same process. Let's add single bone. This is gonna be the neck. So let's drag it around here. So in this case, you can see that the neck of this character here is different from a human neck, okay? So maybe that's why when I use the mixamo to create the bone, the armature, it didn't work very well in Effect House. This is the neck, and now let's extrude the head. Okay, I think this way it's gonna work. And let's rename it. Neck and head. Okay, now we have all the bones. We only need now to connect the arms with the spine too. So select this left shoulder bone and holding shift, select the spine 2 bone and press Ctrl P to parent. So we're gonna make it parent and select keep offset. Okay, and then it's gonna draw this line here. It means that this bone is parent of this left shoulder bone. Okay, let's do the same with the right shoulder. Ctrl P, keep offset, and the same thing with the neck. Ctrl P, keep offset. Because this way, if you check here the armature, you're gonna see that the left shoulder, the right shoulder, and the neck are now inside of the spine 2. Okay, spine 2 is gonna be a parent of these bones. Because you need the hierarchy to be the same as the example here. Okay, let me try to zoom this image. As you can see here, the neck, left shoulder, and right shoulder are inside the spine 2. And also the hips is the parent of the spine and the left up leg and the right up leg. So you're gonna have to do this here. Same thing we did with the arms, we're gonna do here with the legs. Select the left up leg, select the hips, press Ctrl P and keep offset. Okay, same thing here. Ctrl P, keep offset. Okay, and now we're done. Now we can go back to object mode, and here we can already export it to Effect House. But before I export it, I'm gonna show you how you can quickly create the bones using mixamo. Okay, as I was showing you before, you can come here to characters and choose the option upload character. And here you're gonna drag your 3D asset, click the upload. So it's gonna come to this page here, okay? Remember that your mesh can't have bones here, okay? And mixamo gonna send you to this auto rigger page. Press next, and here they ask you to position these little circles in the chin here, chin. These green ones in the wrists, the yellow ones in the elbows, these ones in the knees, and this one in the groin here. And pay attention to this detail, okay, because it's very important. Select here the option with no fingers. Okay, because as I told you before, in Effect House, it won't recognize those bones, and it won't work because it's gonna have more than, in this case here, it's gonna have more than 50 bones. Okay, so select no fingers and press next. So it's gonna create the bones for you. But as I told you before, sometimes it doesn't work properly. Okay, but if your character is exactly like a human body, it's probably gonna work. But for example, when I made this Jynx 3D model here, I'm gonna show you now. Mixamo didn't recognize it as a human shape, so it didn't work there. It wasn't able to add the bones because that model doesn't have legs. And after that, you would press next. Press next again. And then you download it just like we made in the beginning of this video. So now let's go back to Blender and let's export this to Effect House. And before we export it, don't forget to parent the bones to the mesh, okay? Because right now they're not connected. You can see the armature is here and the character is here. So to parent the mesh to your bones, you're gonna select the mesh first. Pressing Shift, you're gonna select the bones, and you're gonna press Ctrl P. And here you're gonna choose with automatic weights. This way, Blender gonna automatically create all the weights for us. And to test it if it's working, you can come to this option here, to the pose mode. Okay, you need to select your bones, come to pose mode, and here you can select a bone, you can rotate and check if it's working. Let me see the neck. In this example, I chose this example just to show you this. Look, when I'm moving the neck, the teeth, it has teeth, it's not moving. And this might happen when you have meshes that aren't connected to each other. In this case, the teeth, aren't connected to the main body here of our character. So let me undo this. And if this happened to you, I'm gonna show you how you can fix this. So let's select the mesh. And here in the weight paint, we're gonna choose the bone responsible to control the teeth. Okay, in this case it would be the head or the neck. So let's choose the head. You're gonna come here to this Object Data Properties tab. And we're gonna select the neck of the head. Okay, the head. And here you can see the regions of our mesh controlled by the head bone. Okay, these red areas are areas influenced by this head bone. And as you can see here, the teeth are all blue. Okay, so in order to fix this, we have to paint the teeth to make the head bone control this area too. So before I paint the teeth, you can come here to Edit Mode. And I'm gonna select only the teeth, okay? All these here. It keeps selecting the gums. I'm gonna select it as well. So to select only one region, you press L. Okay, you hover your mouse on top of it and press L. So you're gonna select only this region. Okay. And now we can go back to weight paint and select the option here, paint mask. This way we're gonna affect only the mouth area. And to paint this area, you can use the draw tool here, but it's hard to draw in the sides, so it's better to use the gradient tool. Okay, check here if the weight is at 1, the strength is at 1, and drag one line here to paint everything. Okay, now it's painted. If you go back to object mode, select the bone and go back to pose mode, Now if we move the head, the teeth should move together. Okay, it's moving. Okay, it's working. Now we can finally export it to Effect House. So to do this, let's box select both the mesh and the bones. Okay, you have to select both. Then come to File, press Export, and export FBX. And here you have to select this option, Selected Objects. Okay, this way it's going to export only the selected objects, and then press Export FBX. Now inside your Effect House, let's create a new project. Click here. And while it's loading, don't forget to give a like in the video, okay? Subscribe to the channel and comment to make YouTube promote this video for more people. Now we just have to drag our FBX file to Effect House. So let's drag it here. Okay. Click and import. Okay. I name my bones, but you can name it whatever you want. And now we're gonna come here in this plus button, okay, and search for AR tracking and select the option body avatar drive. You're gonna see that's pretty easy. You just have to drag your mesh inside the body avatar drive. And as you can see here, it already recognized our mesh. Let me change the camera. So, for example, this guy here. By default, it automatically positions the mesh on top of the body. We can change this here, selecting body avatar drive and this right inspector here. We can uncheck the follow body position. So now the mesh isn't following the body anymore. Let me just get out of the way here so I don't cover any part of the window. Okay, as you can see here, our mesh is still giant. Okay, I don't know why. So let's select the mesh, press this option here, scale, and then hover on top of this middle cube here. Okay, so you can scale down all axes and drag your mouse to scale it down. Okay, until around here. You can also scale it down, change these values here, and to reposition your mesh, select the move option, and you can drag it around. Okay, like this. Let me just import the texture, okay? Because our model came with a texture. This one here. So select your model, come here to shading. And here there's this file. That we're gonna export. Click in here. Click in this sandwich menu here, click image and save as. Then you're gonna save your image and then drag the image to Effect House, okay? Let me add the texture in the material, texture on, and let's select the texture we imported, this one here. Okay, it's very nice now. And if you want more than one character, you have to duplicate this body avatar drive here. Okay. Okay, we have to create a new one. Let's create a new body avatar drive. Now we can duplicate the mesh. And I'm gonna drag the other mesh to the second body avatar. Okay. And again, if you don't want it to follow your body, uncheck this option, then reposition your avatar here. And we are done, guys. If you have any question about this kind of filter, about this kind of effect, you can ask here in the comments. Okay, I try to explain everything, every step very clearly. That's why it's a little long, this video, because I think most tutorials only show this part here where you drag your mesh to effect house and you add the body avatar drive, and that's it. But the most difficult part, that is to create to prepare your mesh to use on effect house, it's rare to find it. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful, and don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you want more effect house tutorials, okay, or if you want more Spark AR tutorials. Okay, lately I'm working more with effect house than Spark AR. So guys, see you in the next tutorial. Bye.